There's a break week. And again, the link
straight into playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready? Well, straight into cross-group deciders, Mr. Day.
That's true. That's true. The cross-group decider.
Technical language is important, I think.
That's very, very true. But we have some bans on our screen. Yunara and Varus going to be directed towards Keduii.
Are they going to let Keduii play his Ezreal?
No, they're going to ban it right now.
Ezreal ban?
Gwen has been left open. And that man in the top lane speaks both English and Korean.
That he does. We'll see what he's speaking today. It's getting convoluted, though, I have to say, this meme.
I mean, the simple reality is there's been much criticism of European top laners for many years over our ability to play Rumble, Jason, Gwen.
That's true.
However, over in Korea, they're very good at those three champions in particular.
That is very true.
So the adage goes that if you are proficient in the language, you are very likely quite good at those champions.
Yeah, but it gets confusing when we start talking about actually learning the language, not in the meme sense, so we can talk about team communication.
That's very true.
Easy to get lost in. Anyway, it's going to be a Trundle first pick here, potentially just waiting. Any further tankier options as Broken Blade's going to give us a cheeky hover. SK do still have room to pick the Ezreal. Important to note, Keduii got one series. Last split against Fnatic where he played the Ezreal. Fnatic lost that series, and it's essentially been perma-banned ever since. You've gotten to play a few more games on it, but more or less, that has been a mainstay of bans against SK, so I feel like it should still be a prio.
He's going to blind pick. Well, it's not blind pick. He's picking it into Trundle, which is, like, it's fine. But picking Jarvan this early into a draft, you've already mentioned the word Ezreal so many times.
Jarvan, Annie.
I feel like there's a bunch of mid lane. Well, actually, are there a bunch of mid laners that you can pick right now? Let me think.
You take your time. All I'm saying is, yeah, a mobile champion like the Ezreal certainly would feel great into the Jarvan, but perhaps it's all a bait. Now, for those of you who missed last week's showdown between G2 and BDS, you may have noted the fact that G2 won with the Annie. You may have missed the fact that Caps died like 5 times on this pick. But what we also learned is that as long as you hit a 3 or 4 man ult at a crucial objective, it just doesn't matter. Now, of course, though, the Gwen locked in for DnDn and potentially the Galio.
Yep. So that was the mid laner that I was looking at. I think Galio, can make a lot of sense into the Annie. Easy to itemize the magic resistance. It makes the laning phase a little bit easier. But right now they're debating their options. Do they want a champion with a dash, or are they quite happy to play through the side lanes? Ryze can work in that sense. Looks like that's going to be their direction.
Abbedagge's best champ individually so far this season, I think, has been the Ryze, of course, in the preseason in the NNO Cup. This was the game that he looked solid against Vitality, even though SK did ultimately lose that series pretty one-sidedly. So now, what's the option here for G2? And there is the Jax lock-in. Well predicted there, Vedius. So
I mean, it's Broken Blade.
It is Broken Blade. It's pretty... We're on the vanilla ice cream side.
Yeah, for sure.
But the question is, what does bot lane get to cook? Because they're finally the ones freed up to get a little wild here.
That's true. We saw prioritization of things like the Xayah Rakan from G2 in their last series. I don't know if that needs to be super high on the list of priorities. It depends on how much more engaged they feel like that they need. Of course, a lot of the traditional engaged champions are still available, with that pool now being narrowed a little bit more as Alistair is taken away. When I think about some of the AD carries that can still be very strong, like when you've got Jarvan and a Jax, Kai'Sa naturally raises some eyebrows, especially if Keduii is more inclined to go towards that Ezreal. We do know that Jinx, especially in Europe, is just kind of a successful champion, one could say.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. When the game goes late, and it probably will, when people die unnecessarily, and they probably will, Jinx looks a lot better. But now the Nico band, again, respect to Labrov, and also just the fact that Nico, I think, pound for pound is probably one of the best supports in the meta currently. But again, SK looking for something to round out what is a pretty short-range comp. Highly mobile, certainly, with the movement speed steroids you can get on a Ryze and a Trundle. Let's see what they want to pull through here.
Loopy does suggest they might be thinking about Rakan.
Ooh,
the Draven hover.
Seems bad and seems good into Gwen, but also really terrible into the
I think he talked about it last week, that he'd love to play some Draven, but it just feels bad right now. Does he feel confident enough on it, though? Of course, there's always a hover for Hans, so you can never really be sure.
He just wants us to let us know that it's still there, and if you're watching and you're a Korean or Chinese team, it's still worth a ban. Wink. Please.
I do remember that World Championship where they banned it pretty much every game.
I mean, respect. I think it made sense, but wouldn't mind a free ban at internationals. Okay, so it is going to be the Rakan locked in. Hyper mobile. Obviously a champion that Trundle, even with one pillar, is going to struggle to lock down. There's almost no reliable CC on the side of SK.
I mean,
they do have
Leona
the
and Bard, I think, can both work.
All right.
Corki, Leona. I can't say I love Corki Bard. Nautilus is also fine.
Corki not. Okay, so SK keeping it stable, I think it's safe to say. And now the Xayah is going to come through.
I think I prefer G2's comp overall. I think that the Trundle has, well, great skirmishing power against the Jarvan early. I think that, I guess it depends on how effectively Keduii and Loopy can get early bot plow. If they can, then there's a way in which Skeanz can leverage that bot plow to like threaten enemy bot side jungle, maybe put some pressure onto the Jarvan, impact SkewMond's kind of early game presence that Jarvan is so well known for. But I think that we just get a lot of team fights in our region. And so I think that when I look at how the team fights play out, Flash anti-tibbers, we saw it from Caps last week. Like, as long as you have that available.
Jack's counter-strike,
it's just like a very straightforward. But I mean, admittedly, they do have the Corki for a little bit more mobility. Gwen is also obviously going to have a lot of backline threat, but into a Xayah, that becomes a little bit harder.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think the top lane matchup is going to be interesting just because it's Gwen versus Jax, always an impressive and fun skill-based matchup where Jax is normally slightly more favored just because of his counter-strike. But this jungle influence in the early game is definitely something I'll be keeping my eyes on. And how well can the laners really set up their junglers, and can they really punish SkewMond? Because so far I think this split, to me, he's really been the standout player.
Definitely an incredibly consistent level of performance coming in for SkewMond. See if he can replicate it today on the J4 as we get into our first game. Again, Jarvan, a champion we look at to be relatively high impact. Trundle, we know, is super strong in those early skirmishes. Such a strong champion in the 1v1. But Skeanz, often a big catalyst for good things for this SK lineup, right? We look back to his Nocturne game, an impressive performance. Trundle, once again, a champion who lacks that immediate CC, but perhaps in his caps, caught out in the mid lane, locked up. It should have been Broken Blade in the table tennis 1v1. This is the price. It's actually just going to be a heal. He kept his flash. What? He kept his flash.
Yes, he did. Loopy had to burn the heal to give him the bonus movement speed, but that's a flash gone now for Loopy. Now,
Labrov had to burn the heal. You said Loopy, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, man.
Didn't want to. Is that a taco emote?
Minions have spawned.
Xayah, Rakan, Heart. Well said.
Oh, I was genuinely confused. I was like,
that's the first time we've seen that.
I'm trying to interpret
our
what
poor producers.
Was.
Hey guys, we're gonna do this thing today.
Yeah.
You like it? We both nodded, yes, and then we forgot.
That's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting.
G2 draft 1.
Okay.
Succinct.
Yeah. Straight to the point. That's what we like to see.
Okay, so mid lane we expected to see perhaps a bit more in favor of Caps, but instead it is actually just a bot lane trade of sums. As the Hex Flash now coming in. Loopy, auto onto Labrov. Doesn't want to overcommit. Not much to be had here at this point in the 2v2.
Jarvan starting on the bot side of the Rift.
Mayhaps a bit of queso in the bottom lane. Maybe a little level 2.
Oh, I mean... in pro play, the level 2 gangs, love to see them. Always very ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes wrong, it's terrible.
Speaking of level 2s, though, we've got to keep an eye on the bot lane.
Nice. Instant engage here. Big damage going in onto Hans Sama. Ignite taking down as well. Loopy finding the lockup with the staggering blows. And very good trade for the side of SK as Broken Blade doing some work on DnDn.
So you can see how in the early trading phase, Broken Blade can get that early prio, leverage the counter-strike, making it harder for DnDn to trade back. DnDn's going to be very reliant on his Q to be able to get any effective trades, but for the time being, he is losing a bit of control. But on that bot side of the map, we've talked about how SK can get that pressure, which could enable 4 Skeanz to actually threaten an invade. I think SkewMond, the part of the reason why he started on his bot side of the map was in anticipation of this, but Skeanz deciding not to go for any kind of threat of an invade, and he's just going to do the full clear pathing towards top. There is a ward that should spot him out, which he's just walked over now.
Or did he just evade? It wasn't quite clear. No pings on him.
But if nothing else, like that ward still gives G2 all the information that they need to know that he is doing a bot side clear towards top. So Broken Blade will need to be cautious. DnDn running the Ignite with a lane in this sort of position means an early gank can be devastating.
Nice. Level 3. Slightly ahead of schedule for G2. Labrov just goes for a bit of poke. And again, this is one of the powers of the Rakan in the context of these engaged matchups compared to Enchanters. Obviously not the best sustained, but the Gleaming Quill really does add up in these melee matchups. DnDn trying to fire back. And Look at that, SkewMond moving over just to keep track of where Skeanz is. You saw a question mark ping go down topside. I love that. It feels like SkewMond and BB linking up, kind of giving the necessary information so that BB can sustain this pressure on the top side.
Yeah, this early vision control from G2, just fantastic information. They've tracked Skeanz well in the early game. They had a ward on his bot side Krugs, they had a ward on his blue, and they have a ward here from Caps. They also have that ward on the bot side of the river as well. So just keeping track of what Skeanz is up to. Reset going to come through from SkewMond. He's going to get back out onto the map that bit earlier. I doubt he's going to be able to make much magic happen, though, as there really isn't many people on the Rift for him to make a play around. Jarvan is a champion that always remains strong in my mind, because we both had the luxury of casting with Kadril, and he always used to talk to us about how this champ, if he's not ganking, he's useless.
That is very true.
Now, I don't think he's that one-dimensional, I will admit, but...
No, I like to keep it simple.
Yeah, I like to keep it simple. Yeah,
nuance, who's got time for nuance? Let's keep it hyperbole. This champ needs to get a gank down before level 6 or sad.
Useless champ.
Useless champ. Of course, against an immobile Ryze, not entirely useless, but it does just get a lot harder. It's really nice when you get those level 3 J4 ganks.
Well, Loopy's flash is now back up. So, slightly harder target there is he's going to make his way towards the top side of the map as the early swap has come through from G2.
Yeah, but credit to G2. Getting a very proactive swap there. Will use Broken Blade's TP to return back to the bottom side. However, for SK, DnDn has held on to the TP this entire time, so actually the TP advantage.
So he can now go back to base, TP straight to bot. Shouldn't lose out on too much. He is, of course, a little bit behind. The base getting interrupted, but SkewMond's the target.
Flash in, Abbedagge. Really wanted that root. There's the snare. He wants to push W. They're locked out. Flash in. That's just so many resources. Just to watch Jarvan
to get the collapse.
Wrist off into the distance. Caps trying to keep the CC going. Labrov on the way, and it's only level 4, but Skeanz is not that tanky. Q coming through. Otto wants to speed up, but there it is. First blood. G2 turn it back. And give the kill to SkewMond.
I love the idea from SK. Set up a trap on those Raptors to punish SkewMond, but he was able to flash early enough to create that distance needed to allow his EQ combo to get him to safety. And as you highlighted, Drakos, so many resources committed to trying to get that kill made the collapse very easy from G2's side.
Definitely did, right? All those individual pieces of CC, one of the things we highlighted, you don't have that reliable lockdown. So the Jarvan Flag and Drag does bring them out, but it's Hansama. Mayhaps about to find himself face first in a hook as Keduii keeps the damage going. Hansama still just backstepping casually. Labrov there to body block as well, so positive trade, yes, but really no greater advantage.
Yeah, Labrov was body blocking, but unfortunately for Loopy, his hook did actually connect into the wall, not really onto another person, so they couldn't keep that trade from continuing. Nice aggression though, gets Hansama down to about 50% HP. But as you look at the bottom of your screen, you can see small advantages across the board going towards G2, whereas Broken Blade and SkewMond building strong leads for themselves. That first blood doing SkewMond wonders, of course, but Broken Blade himself just winning out on the 1v1 matchup, as we often see in this Jax versus Gwen 1v1.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Jarvan did not gank, did get a kill.
True.
Useless or not useless?
I think useful.
There you go.
I think so.
That was a high-value EQ. And now it's going to be the Drake picked up as well.
Look at how many flashes are available on the side of SK, Drakos.
Not a lot.
I count 1, and that's only on Keduii.
Yeah, poor DnDn.
Prime real estate, Jarvan would say, I imagine.
To be fair, Ryze always going to be vulnerable. Always happy to trade for that flash, but Abbedagge is going to have to be careful. Caps notably dying less than the last time he played this matchup.
That's true. No, well, he played into the...
He played into the Azir.
Yeah.
But even then, we take it. Growth from this rookie player in the mid lane. As G2 just keeping the pressure on. Again, swap, reset their bottom lane to the top side of the map. Now they're ready to play for grubs. They got the Drake. They're just trying to keep the tempo nice and clean and in their favor. And yeah, it's all been in their favor thus far, outside of a small gold lead.
Abbedagge cautious, given the state of the wave right now, but Loopy is in the area to offer his assistance. Both supports still a ways away from level 6.
Uh-oh. Resets canceled. All of SK, you can see, other than DnDn, starting to shift up to the top side, slowly but surely.
This wave state is very uncomfortable for Abbedagge. He has to be so cautious with no flash against an Annie and a Jarvan and a Rakan.
And they just spotted Skeanz, so they know exactly where SK are positioned. But
these wards from G2 continue to be strong throughout this early game. She's doing a fantastic job of keeping an eye on Skeanz. Like, you'll notice another one as well, just down here, to spot for any shenanigans just behind the Dragon Pit. Something to be mindful of. Oh, the AD carries.
Doing Osama, trading blows. SkewMond on the wing. Keduii does still have flash, but it's just going to walk out of that one. Realm Orb coming. Skeanz sprinting straight to the grubs. There's no play there to be had. Meanwhile, on the top side, excuse me, the top lane matchup on the bottom side of the Rift, it is an ulti. Busted out there by DnDn alongside the Ignite, but he really loses out on that trade. However, grubs are being taken, so Broken Blade trying to maximize the amount of time he has in the isolated 1v1 mid lane. It's Labrov and Caps moving up to try to contest here. Sama, the feathers have flown. Ulti down. Caps ready to go in. Initial knockup is good. Caps looking for the angle on the bear. It manages to connect. That's going to be a kill on the jungle. SkewMond immediately going. They don't have a good position to fight this. Keduii flashing back. One more auto coming through. Abbedagge untouched, but it's time to get the hell out. Feat of Warfare claimed by G2 as they pick up their third kill. And only 2 grubs to the side of SK.
SK will still be happy with the grubs, but losing that fight, naturally, not an ideal outcome. By securing the grubs, I'm sure they would have loved to have disengaged, and you could see that Loopy was threatening that pick on the back line, but a very early ulti comes through from Sama, and then the team fighting prowess of this composition. They lock down Skeanz, they focus him, securing that early pick. Labrov recognizes, you know what, I'm going to give my life to make sure we get more kills here. And G2 converted into another one. 3-1 the kill lead. 1.9k now the gold lead.
Yeah, that went from slight advantage to G2 to pretty massive advantage. 2 grubs not going to matter too much unless DnDn or Abbedagge can find a significant lead over their laning counterpart. Stronger side lanes for SK by a slim margin. Jack's obviously pretty powerful in either context, but Abbedagge maybe could make the difference on a side lane. They have put him in top lane as Keduii and Loopy have taken up home in mid.
Look at the timing for Sama arriving in that bot wave just as the wave is crashing. So he's going to soak up that massive wave. And even though he doesn't have a kill yet this game, he's doing very well in the farm department. G2 using these swaps very effectively. And SK, like, it's small and subtle, but you can see the leads, well, the goal, I should say, how it just kind of slowly edges towards G2 in their favor. And they're just, well, playing the map very well.
And the thing is now it's not so subtle, because we have a completed Malignance and a completed Sundered Sky.
That's true.
Which means that, oh my god, it's easy to fight at this point. The bear, obviously the first cooldown isn't going to matter, but for the next cooldown, you see Broken Blade starting to go on top side. It's the table tennis 1v1 we were denied. They won't see it through to completion.
And I will say, Sundered Sky on Jarvan, it feels good. His passive,
so
he slaps you with it, right? And it's guaranteed crit and it heals. Just synergizes beautifully with the champion.
And if you're falling behind against a team with Sundered Skies, Broken Blade now going all in. It's feeling personal.
He pops the ult there.
Okay, so Abbedagge does just get the ult, but likely...
He has kill threat on Abbedagge underneath the tower. The pop might make the difference,
flash.
though.
They both have flash. Only 3 range creeps as DnDn does what he can to start to farm up. I think Sama and Labrov happy to just hit tower plates here, but maybe want a bit more poke. Pull back on the feathers, doesn't quite hit. Oh, SkewMond wants a divey. This is dangerous, though. Gwen does have ulti, likely has the mist as we haven't seen her use it, and also the ignite. Meanwhile, on the top side, Broken Blade starting to run, flash forward. That's the root. Loopy connecting the hook. Counter strike is there. Good damage ignite now coming through. They're trying to finish off Broken Blade. He might not win in table tennis. With a little support, he manages to finish it. DnDn also dashing out in the bottom side, and Sama ulti up just in time to reset the tower aggro.
Action happening across the Rift as the top laners are the targets. But I think G2 will come out the better as they set their sights on the tower.
Are they going to commit to this? No, they're actually going to go back to base. The reset's going to come through. They're going to leave this one for now. I guess the dragon might be the priority, but a nice play on the top side of the map from SK. Broken Blade was hungry, eager to try and punish Abbedagge. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the Rift, DnDn, I mean, he's in a 3 versus 1. There's only so much he can do with no flash, especially. Labrov pops his ultimate, gets the knock up, the chain CC. But DnDn, he survives a long time thanks to the healing that comes through from his ultimate. And it forces a lot out from G2. That was flash gone from SkewMond, flash gone from Labrov. But they end up getting the kill in the end.
And the nice thing about Jarvan and the Rakan specifically, right, is all of their CC means they're in melee range of you. So the mist just doesn't save you, and it gives Sama the time he needs to just walk in. Didn't have to use any spells, didn't have to waste anything on getting the mist out. Had to be used proactively, so well executed by G2. Can be really tricky, but managed to make the most of it as gold lead for G2 just continues to grow. Broken Blade also reset and got the full item completion. So despite dying to Abbedagge, the mid lane matchup is still close to even, and his 1v1 versus the Ryze, well, he's still got the completed Triforce.
Yeah, a lot of big items, indeed. But I don't know if SK feels strong enough to really contest this. That vision coverage, once again, you can see those red wards littered on the bot side of SK's jungle. G2 has clear information as to what SK is planning to do. This is going to be an uncontested objective, as G2 will likely set their sights on securing their first tower of the game. An overall very clean performance from G2 so far here in this first game.
Yeah, bit of a risk right around that second Raptor spawn, but because SkewMond manages to get out, it feels like it's just been smooth sailing outside of the death from Broken Blade on the top side. But the gold lead only continues to grow, and there's not really a good counterplay angle here from the side of SK. Still a minute till Herald. G2 are going to reset, and they might be a little bit late to get to the waves, but should still have plenty of time to at least fight for the objective. Caps, though. Just a little too fast. Shout out Cloud Rift, baby. RNG.
Cap's now going to move to the top lane with the AD carry moving into mids. These lane assignments from G2, fast and efficient. SK getting that early push into mid lane. They could use this to set up control around the Herald. But they don't... Well, they do have some wards to play with, but when you look at their inventory, it's very limited. Whereas G2's coming off the back of a base, so that's 4 control wards that I count. Jarvan just dropping his own. And they're going to sweep out all this vision. Like, the vision difference is night and day.
Let's look at the scores. I see a 20, a 32. Okay, it's not in the numbers for right now. But over the course of the game, I completely agree. I don't know how vision scores calculate. I have 0 clue. Sometimes I like to check 100%. Just in case. Number big, I assume good. So while both supports are comparable, it's still G2 in control of the top side. The part of the map that matters the most right now is Herald is on the table. And the struggle here for the side of SK is they just don't want to group. And contesting the Herald really does involve grouping up and trying to force that fight, but they don't have a man advantage. On the bot side, a lot of pressure down on Abbedagge, who's now trying to scooch his boot out of there. Broken Blade, no stun. So Abbedagge will be able to escape.
And, well, and there's going to be no contest on the Herald. And I can't really blame them. Like Xayah, Annie, Jarvan.
Yeah, again, you can't.
One item, like...
Nope.
Yeah, normally you would think Trinity Force, strong power spike, but your Rod of Ages is bot lane, your Gwen doesn't have an item completed.
Loopy. Flag, drag, knock up there. Flash out to get away from Rakan's, knock up, hook! Ooh. Was that an instantaneous cancel? Did that just defy the laws of physics? Did that man just phase through a wall?
Listen, man, I'm not here to ask science-based questions in a mythical magic game, okay?
Okay, you're right. Loopy, chandelier looking guy down there is going to manage to escape.
I think of him, maybe he just channeled his inner Flash. He moved so fast that he could phase through physical objects.
The speed force.
He is the speed.
Sorry, the name the Speed Force always makes me laugh. Anyway, this is looking rough, is the honest truth. Both drafts pretty stock standard, pretty vanilla. G2 a little bit more straightforward. And
oh, we're going to get a slow-mo replay. Here we go. So here's the point where you can see he channels the speed
It doesn't matter.
And he phases through the
object. That's canon, baby. Ask James Gunn.
Back to live. Oh, Abbedagge's dead.
Abbedagge is likely dead.
Do you notice that redemption came down? It was either to
It was to get an assist. That was to get an assist.
Yeah,
that's an ego redemption.
No. He was trying to steal that kill, bro.
All right.
He read that he was going to go down through the tri-brush, but he went up. No assist, no kill secured. Nice try, though, Labrov. We see it.
All right. Well, my table tennis jokes are...
you have exhausted them.
I have exhausted them, yep. And I'm done now.
Broken Blade said straight to Abbedagge's face, we can now play table tennis.
Yep. We assume.
We assume. That's what, yeah.
We see all chat and he didn't, but we're just going to make that up. That's, yeah, just spreading a little...
There's beef now. There's beef.
Yeah. Making some narrative, as it were.
Now, this might not seem like it, but SK is getting slaughtered right now.
I think it seems like it. That's a 5,000 gold.
No, but often people associate like high kills, the fast pace.
Come on,
but
in.
G2 is just completely suffocating SK out of this game.
Yep.
And a dragon is spawning in 45 seconds.
I think the good news for SK, Abbedagge.
Oh, that's good news.
Well, I mean, once he gets that next item completion, the Ryze pretty strong on 2 items. Never mind. We're out of good news. We're back to the bad news portion of the cast. Dun run! He can't run. He's been CC'd. Now he's trying to heal, but it's not enough. Okay.
I love how your good news is, listen.
There's a second item coming in, and he's
Dia,
really
I'm
good.
telling you, this is a really good investment.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's going to pay off all our debt.
No, yeah. I feel like the guy in The Walking Dead. He's like, it could be worse. You know? They could have picked Grandma and Grandpa, you know? So,
oh my goodness.
definitely picked Grandpa. Grandma might be next on the list. It's a little bit of a struggle here. Now there is bounties. Oh my god, he's just solo taking a tier 2 tower.
That's Janks. No
and again,
opposition.
All right, let's cast our minds deep into theoretical. There's a version in the multiverse where SK win this game, and I think if that version is going to happen, Doctor Strange style, we're going to need item spikes, and we're going to need some mistakies from the side of G2. Because
mistakies?
Yeah, some mistakes. You make it look like you. Yeah, a little woo, you know? Like you're getting slaughtered.
Yes.
Ooh, woo.
Ooh, woo, yeah.
Maybe makes it more palatable.
Yeah, no. That's what fills me with confidence. When I'm
just
facing
saying
death
that
itself.
I have seen better teams throw bigger leads. You know?
Have you?
Maybe.
Name them.
They're mostly from the LPL, so maybe it doesn't count because they're a bit more reliable in the old throw department. Okay. So,
I mean, I'm just...
it's a roughie. We're waiting for the Otacon. It's probably a pretty easy start for G2. But again, they have side lane pressure, 3 Drakes that are on soul point. They have a 6k gold lead. They have second item spikes now coming through. SkewMond will likely just be unkillable in the context of a 1v1. And Skeanz, while Triforce is a good spike, he just going to get deleted unless he ults a Jax who is already ulted.
I mean, there's only a single player with a Trinity Force on G2's side, but I don't think that will stop them from doing tons of damage.
True. Nice. You want a little freak reference? You want to give credit for the freak reference?
I kind of was hoping for a little bit more, but that's
Last time you were like trying to make a blood sacrifice to him with all the puns, so I think you can calm down.
That's fair. Blue buff.
Freak thinks you're cool, bro. I promise. I swear. Okay?
I don't think he does, actually. I know him personally.
You do? He's like, yeah, that's cool.
I think he would describe me as many things. Cool is not one of them.
Well, you know, he's a smart man. It's safe to say that. Anyway, Herald has been summoned. G2 summoning the Herald while doing the Otacon. Double dipping on giant primordial entities.
That's a big deal.
Ruggleboy waiting over the wall. Skeanz wants to go in. 50-50 for the bounty. This is a massive shift. They burn everything, but it's still ticking. But the jungler's dead, and it's all falling apart. Otacon's down. Keduii's running for his life. Ruggleboy is trying to 2v1 as Abbedagge is forced to flat down. It's Keduii left all by himself on his little chicken airplane. And he will drop. DnDn snips in anticipation. But the scissors are dull.
Oh, are they?
Oh, they might not be. DnDn healing. Last stack of the ulti.
Here comes the healing.
Needs it.
Can he get the outplay?
Side step. Ooh, you almost back. He's dancing on them. Oh, Rogue just hit him in the face. That was rude.
He played that about as well as he could have.
Again, he did. But it is a 10k gold lead, and it's even bigger than that because there are so many flowers worth of XP.
Oh, yeah. This is an absolute
Oh, there's a
slaughter.
Herald charge. I forgot the Herald even exists. There's the Herald.
They got a lot of value out of that. Soul in 2 minutes time, Baron in 3 minutes. G2, they're just playing textbook. And I mean, you can argue that this is what you want to be seeing from one of the top teams in the league. We go back into this team fight. They spotted Broken Blade out. They tried to zone him away, but he just engages. And G2 do the exact same thing on the other sides with a forced engage onto Skeanz. DnDn has no real pathway into the fight. He enters the tri-brush and he's immediately forced to disengage. Abbedagge then sets up a bit of a trap. Gets very close to securing a kill onto Caps. But then Labrov arrives to assist his mid laner.
The Bear gets him. In the end, for SK, it feels like a position where you have to contest. If you win the coin flip on the 50-50, it won't stabilize the gold, but it'll give you a bunch of XP, a bunch of stats. Maybe you buy more time to just survive. But at this stage, that's, you know, it's a 5% chance to swing the game back in your favor, whereas doing nothing is probably like a 2% chance to hold on to anything.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in this kind of a game state, you just kind of, at that point, the game is over. So
the percentage of plays you can make that are good plays is incredibly low.
Exactly. You've just got to send it at a certain point, and especially when G2's on an objective, that's your best play. Right now, this is not the objective they can really fight them on, though. DnDn is pushing top lane to try and get some gold back for the team. Inhibitor stays alive for now.
The struggle is with this kind of gold advantage. I don't think there is an objective they can fight them on, but there's 2 items for Abbedagge. He's suddenly starting to hurt.
Wow, G2, they're actually showing restraint ahead of the dragon spawn.
Boom!
And they're going to go back to base in anticipation of the soul.
Fight! Fight!
Well, I will say that, like, I'm impressed with how clean, methodical they're taking this game.
That's fair.
Because for G2, there's very little stakes, if any, on the outcome of this game.
That's, yeah.
So my anticipation would be that they'd come in and they'd be a little bit more loosey-goosey, a little bit overconfident, you know, kind of play sometimes how we see them. But they're taking this very seriously.
We say that, and we have now cast a curse them. Broken Blade in trouble. Abbedagge on the way in. He doesn't know where to jump. He's jumping over the wall. The pillar is there, but Abbedagge managed to get CC'd.
In his defense, there were 5 people top lane. I don't think, like, I don't even know if that was a G2, like, that wasn't a BB mistake, you know? Who plans for 5 people top?
It's tough. It's like that scene in Kick-Ass when he first puts on the costume and just gets the crap kicked out of him. It's like, yo, bro, you got the costume, you got the items, but that's still 5 dudes. Well, 4 dudes in a doll.
Yeah,
but
precisely.
You know, close enough.
G2 will secure the soul off the back of that. SK basically just doing kind of whatever they can to get some sort of footing in this game. You can see that they've got some components towards those 3rd items, and
also Cloud Soul. Did we mention Cloud Soul?
Yeah, I just mentioned it.
Okay, yeah,
you're good. No, you're all good, bro. Yeah, and so basically SK is doing what they can to try and stall the game out as much as possible, but unfortunately G2 is about to start the Baron off spawn. You can see they're pushing these waves in pretty deep. SK trying to set a no trap here in the mid lane. Wave going to be cleared, Baron control, start the objective, and if SK come, you turn and fight. If they don't, you get a Baron, you end the game.
Alrighty. SK, of course, not sure if the call is keep your head in the game, think about it, look for angles, or maybe let's talk about what we need to do in the next game. Broken Blade goes in onto Loopy. Loopy manages to hook the wall and get out for an extra second here, but costing a lot of resources, and the rest of his team might just fall to pieces. DnDn getting teared down, but healing up a decent amount. Not enough, though, as Caps now on a killing spree, and Labrov just chasing down Loopy. SkewMond Cap still going forward. SkewMond might just give his life in the exchange, but there's so much healing, he still has the flash. Skeanz determined to get one back.
He's so fast!
He's Troll Judge, he's Troll Executioner, but he cannot get the kill, and in the meantime, Broken Blade, Papa Keduii, Loopy going down to Hansama, and Skeanz is just going to fall. That's the double. The Baron not even needed. Abbedagge goes golden, takes his time, hits him with the little Teemo. There you go, G2. Start to finish dominance. SK, the hope, the dream of a play around those Raptors, then almost kill, a kill that never was. The rest of the game in G2's favor. Broken Blade, a few deaths on the top side. Otherwise, just about flawless from the old G2 boys.
I mean, an incredibly clean performance from G2 overall. I think that Grubs fight is really what broke it open. They got, what, 2-3 kills, ballooned it into a 2K gold lead, and then they just never relented on the pressure.